United Airlines, like most US carriers, is known to change or swap out the flight numbers of their short-haul services every few weeks or months, unlike in Europe, where we get numbers that have been staying with their routes for over a decade. But this isn't always the case. Some short-haul flights in the United States will keep their numbers for much longer than usual. UA778 has been operating the evening United flight from Denver to Bozeman since no later than summer 2022, to the time I'm recording this. For a mainline domestic flight in the United States, this is an unusual occurrence. A year and a half ago, I reviewed United Flight 778 in a double trip report with a different flight on the opposite route. When I took UA778 that time, I fell asleep and didn't get much out of it. Most of the stuff in that video was from UA1505, the one I covered after. In fact, the only reason I included Flight 778 in there was to show the cabin inconsistency of United 737NGs. But today, I'm going to cover Flight 778 Denver to Bozeman again. So, this unusual flight number occurrence will allow, for the first time on this channel, a second trip report on the same route and flight number. But that won't mean anything, trust me. These two instances of Flight 778 Denver to Bozeman will not be comparable. It's been almost a year since the last time I saw Denver Airport, and almost 2 years since I was last in Terminal B. Wait, my gate is A24? What? That summed up my reaction when I saw that. Before today, I thought all the mainline United flights departed out of the B concourse. But it looks like there will be a bit of a change from my other United flights out of here. And if this couldn't get any more odd, I arrived here very early, so boarding won't be in about 4 hours. If you read the title, you'd know that yes, I'm taking a flight on the Boeing 737 Max in 2024. You're probably thinking, K4E Diamond, why are you doing this? Weren't you just 3 months ago 2 days away from being on the very Max that lost its door plug mid-flight? If there was anyone who'd be avoiding the Max like the plague right now, wouldn't it be me? Okay, first of all, the plane today is a Max 8, the variant without the door plug. Second of all, when I got this flight, it didn't say it would be a Max. It originally said 737-900, but long after I booked it, they swapped it to a Max. So shout out to United, ha 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 ha. But on a more positive note, because we are taking United's Max 8, I'll finally get the chance to see their new Next interior that everyone's so hyped up about. I've always thought of United as an average airline. I never once had a terrible experience with them. But when it comes to what they've been offering recently for short haul, it's not been more than the bare minimum. I'm saying this based on my experience on the opposite route, which I did mid-2022. They've been making improvements though, which I hope to see when I fly on board the Next interior. We will see if United is actually stepping up their game, or if it's just more of the same. But based on the pictures I've seen of the Next interior, I don't think it will be. I spent a lot of time up here on the balcony of Concourse A, checking my aircraft now and then. I grabbed some pizza bagels for dinner. My Max for today is on its way from Miami. It had to fly what looks like a few hundred miles down south of Denver before making a right turn. I was confused about this at first, but then it was clear that it needed to do that in order to find an opening between all the other aircraft trying to land here. My aircraft ended up coming in behind a different United 737 Max 8 and in front of a Southwest one. I also overheard the boarding call for United Flight 182, the United Dreamliner flight to Frankfurt. This caught my attention as this is the flight I took in my earliest trip report 2 years ago. I also found it strange how it was leaving from the A gates. Well, if the plane was arriving from Frankfurt, it would obviously have to park here to get passengers through customs and border protection. But when I took it, they ended up towing my Dreamliner to the B gates after deplaning everyone, and I boarded there. Turns out the United flights out of here aren't as predictable as I thought. Little did I know, as I was heading to A24, that there would be another surprise waiting for me. So it turns out that the west end of the A gates is a new modernized extension. I didn't even know this was here. I've known about the C gates extension for a while, and when I first saw it, I already knew it existed. This, I never knew about. It looks very similar to the C gates extension, and I'm happy to be flying out of here. Also, unlike the rest of the A concourse, this extension is full of United aircraft performing domestic flights. So I guess that explains why my flight even bothered to go here over the B gates. I'm still unfamiliar with United's domestic operation out of the A gates, so if anyone has more information about this, please leave a comment below. Now here is my ride to Bozeman, Yellowstone, just came in from Miami. This is November 17333, a brand new 737 Max built last August. Like all of United's Max 8s, this one is in the new Evo Blue livery. We are seeing more and more of those nowadays. Also, it's got the CFM LEAP 1B engines that we keep seeing on the Maxes. You may be thinking that this is the second Max 8 that I've flown on, as I only reviewed one other early last year. But no, a few months after I took that flight, I took another Southwest trip, where I did the short LAX to Las Vegas route on November 1803 uniform, another Southwest Max 8. I didn't record any flight from that trip, but I did get some pictures from them, including that short Max flight. So this United jet is actually my third Max. Beside it was a 737-800NG, also in the Evo Blue livery. This is the type I took the last time I took Flight 778. But I'm showing this because there are quite a few people who would mistake this for a Max because I guess its winglets look like they're from a Max. I hate to be that guy, but if that's one of you, look. This is a split scimitar winglet seen on 737NGs. They're curved and have pointed tips. Now this is a Max winglet, also called the Advanced Technology winglet. As you can see, these winglets are straight and have flat tips. My point here is, just because it has split winglets doesn't mean it's a 737 Max. Thank you. Now I guess I have to board this sketchy plane. 29A will be my home for the next 1.5 hours. So, my first time on board United's next interior. Before I show more of it, I should probably address my actual opinions on the new 737 Max controversy. They were playing copyrighted music during boarding, so I think I should take the time to now. So, ever since Alaska Flight 1282, Boeing has been in a lot of hot water, pretty much for most of 2024, and probably for a good reason. This has led to the Max being seen once again in a negative light, just as people, including me, started to trust this plane more. Yes, Flight 1282 was an issue specific to the Max 9, but the door plug thing is clearly not the only thing that's going wrong with Boeing. You know, there was the anti-ice system problems, there was Boeing asking for safety exemptions on their Max 7 and Max 10 variants. Yeah, the Max program in itself is sketchy, and it's hard to trust these planes. Such a shame. If this wasn't happening with it, I would love this plane. But being fully honest, I wouldn't encourage anyone to fly on a 737 Max. What I would encourage is to try to fly on aircraft from other manufacturers. Because now we got whistleblowers saying there's problems with the 777s and the Dreamliners. It's this whole thing. I'm not gonna get deep into that. I'm not saying never fly on any Boeing plane. It's just, if possible, try to get a flight with Airbus, maybe Embraer. Boeing just has a lot of problems right now. I hope they get a new management team, one that won't put profits over safety and rush their planes. Unfortunately, it won't always be possible to avoid aircraft like the Max. As seen with this flight, they can easily change your plane. Yeah, you can change your flight sometimes, but how easy that is depends on what route you're taking and what type of fare you bought. I don't think it would hurt to accidentally end up on one Max, but if it's easy for you to change the flight, I'd recommend doing it if an aircraft change like that happens. Thought about doing that with this flight. In the end, I decided to just go with what I had now. May as well see the next interior. I probably wouldn't do this in the future. Okay, now for some positivity. I did end up getting 2 windows at seat 29A. The most significant change in the next interior is these in-flight entertainment screens. I think they are the same ones they use on long-haul flights, so it's cool to see how they've gone the Delta route. The legroom is alright. I've seen better, still it's great for a flight like this. The seats aren't the most comfortable, but they aren't any worse than those on the United 800NG, and they kept the adjustable headrests. I was happy to find out that United still hands out sanitizing wipes during boarding. Once boarding was done, the cabin crew came around and handed out something that surprised me. Wow, they actually did it. United gave me earbuds. Okay, for context, I flew 2 different 9-hour United flights in 2022, and neither of them had earbuds for their IFE, and ever since then, I've been throwing a bit of shade at United whenever I got the chance. The fact that Delta can offer earbuds on a 40-minute flight, while United can't even do that on a 9-hour one is really saying something. And United, if Delta is willing to offer these on 40-minute flights, there is no excuse for you not to have them on 9-hour ones. Yeah, United, I'm talking to you. Just get these on your 9-hour flights. But it looks like they changed that. I'd assume they'd have these on long-haul flights if they're giving them on a short flight like this, so yeah, props to United. The tray table is an okay size, it has a cup grove. This might be the same seat model found on Southwest except with in-flight entertainment screens. The literature pocket has some things like this air sickness bag, and then there is a safety card that is not in great condition. Just look, it's stuck together, you can't even open it. That's not cool. Then there's the bonus miles card. What is cool is that United is the only airline in the big 3 that still has their airline magazine. United calls theirs Hemispheres. It's got the route map, as you can see, with both their domestic and international destinations. Got some information on the Star Alliance partners. It also has a buy on board menu, but I didn't get anything from that. Also, part of this page was ripped out. I don't know how that happens. Either way though, I still think it's very cool that United still has this magazine. The United Next interior is only guaranteed at this time on the Max 8 and the A321neo. There are a lot of Max 9s that have it, but not all of them do. There's at least a few A319, 737NGs, and 757s that have it, but not nearly all of them. Now we can look at the big highlight of the Next interior, the in-flight entertainment screens. It looks like the same IFE system that United already has on their long-haul planes, except with a new feature. They have Bluetooth. This means you can now connect wireless earbuds to it. I didn't try that with my AirPods, I just used the earbuds they handed out to me, but it's still a nifty feature. I've praised United a lot for their fast and responsive screens on long-haul flights, and for their massive selection of entertainment, and what they have on the Next interior is no exception. So yeah, I can see why this new interior is well loved by many. I wish the best chance you had at getting this interior wasn't by flying on a Max, but until the rest of the fleet is retrofitted, or when they get more A321neos, this will be the case. At this time, United offers 4 daily flights into Bozeman from Denver. There is a morning one operated by Mesa Airlines using the CRJ-900, one at about noon using the 738NG, another in the afternoon using the E175 operated by SkyWest, and then there's this evening one using the Max 8. I found it quite interesting that United is using the Max 8 on Denver to Bozeman. I never imagined United using this type on this route. I guess Southwest does this route a lot and sometimes does it with their Max 8, but United? I don't know, I've taken this route a lot on both airlines, and I never thought United would use their Max on it. Bozeman will get UA Maxes from Newark, which makes sense. But Denver, I don't know, I've just always imagined their A319s or 73NGs doing this one. And of course, there is an interactive flight map. Going back to this being the second time I'm taking this flight and how I find it odd that a Max is performing it, this did not feel like the UA778 I knew. Forget the fact that both the flight number and the route are the same. Nothing about this flight is the same as when I took it in 2022, or any other time I did Denver to Bozeman. For one, I never imagined taking it with one of the best in-flight entertainment systems I've seen. The plane is much newer than every other time I did the route. And I've never seen such a stunning sunset taking it either. Just look at these photos comparing UA778 from 2022 and this one. It's just so interesting how different these flights are despite being the same route and number. The last time I reviewed United was on the opposite route, and I criticized the disappointing level of service. All they offered on that flight was a cup of water, not even a drink choice or a snack, that was all. But I have some good news, they improved that too. They had a big drink selection along with a choice of 3 snacks, one being a snack mix, another dark chocolate quinoa crisps, and finally, I'm afraid I don't remember what the third one was, but I ended up choosing the snack mix, and for my drink, orange juice. So yeah, I think it's fantastic how United's short-haul service is a lot more like that of Delta now. Massive improvement from last time.
Onto your beverage, just know that you will be stuck with it or on the ground.
While we've been in the air, you've heard me praising United for this interior a lot, so I should probably remind you viewers that this product still isn't the norm on United Airlines, and that most of the aircraft with it are of the type that I recommend avoiding if you can, the 737 Max. Yes, the next interior is also on all of their A321neos, but not many of those planes have been delivered, and I don't think this product will be on a majority of their fleet for a long time. I do have another United trip report on one of their Airbus planes that should be coming next month, and in that video, we will be reviewing United in an interior that's more aligned with what's commonly seen on United narrow-body jets. That should be a good video, and so that you don't miss it or any of my other trip reports coming up, you should subscribe and leave a like and comment on this video while you're at it. Anyways, let's land in Montana, and once we do, I'll be sharing my closing thoughts on this United Airlines flight on a brand new 737 Max.
Bozeman, Montana, where the local time is 9:18 p.m. We're going to be taxiing for the next few minutes, so please remain comfortably seated until the seatbelt sign has been turned off. You may continue to use and charge your phones and tablets, but if you're sitting in the exit row, please do not plug your device into the outlet. Don't forget to check your seat back pocket and area under your seats to make sure that you have all of your belongings, and be careful when opening.
That touchdown was strange. I swear I could literally hear the brakes, though I'm not sure if that's really what that sound was. So, this new interior is a sign that United is stepping up their game. We just have to wait a while for it to be seen throughout most of their fleet. But even if it wasn't for the next interior, I'd still say United is improving. Like, we saw the level of complimentary service, we got a good choice of beverages and snacks. This flight felt a lot more like Delta Airlines than United, which is a good sign that they're stepping in the right direction. Yeah, the seats wouldn't be very comfortable if you were taking this plane on a, let's say, 3-hour flight, but that's all I really have to say. The final score for Flight 778 number 2 is 8.6 out of 10. Definitely the best short-haul flight I've taken with United, and I can't wait for this product to become its norm. Also, with what I've been saying about the Max, I'm not saying you have to avoid it completely, but I would steer from it if you can. Though, as seen with this flight, it isn't as easy to avoid as I thought because, you know, they swapped the plane. Also, I'm taking another trip next month, this time with a group, which means I did not choose the flights I'm taking there, and it'll be with Southwest Airlines, so there's a chance I'll have to fly in more Maxes. It'll just be what it is. Another long video, so if you made it this far, thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in for my next review, where I'll be flying a short Helvetic Airways flight on an Embraer 190 E2.